What's going on, guys? Going to do another High Prairie kitchen today, doing something you probably haven't heard of. We are making some pancake syrup, but not out of maples. No, I'm sure you heard of maple syrup. We are making walnut syrup. So let's do it. So this is a walnut tree. That's what the bark looks like. You can tell they'll have, actual walnuts on them in the fall. Generally it's like every other year around here, and then they have distinct leaves, like compound leaves with leaflets on them. So the first thing is find a bunch of walnut trees, and you can see we've got a couple here, and you might see the jugs on them. We'll talk about those here in just a second. So here's a little closer up view of the jug and tap. Basically you're just drilling a hole into the walnut tree, not too far up, and you put this tap in. You can get these online anywhere, they're not too expensive, and then you just take some clear tubing and run them into, we're using just old milk jugs, no sense in spending a lot of money. You just put the cap on, then we can dump them out. We'll do that here in just a second. But the key to doing this is you got to have temperatures above freezing during the day and just below freezing at night. It helps make the sap run and has a higher sugar content. We're gonna go collect sap now. It's not too complicated to collect the sap here. Dump the jug out.
Not much in that one.
So there is how much we got, a little over, probably a gallon and a half. This is another batch, earlier batch, we're just dumping it back in. So what you do now is you just boil it, and it's about 40-to-1 ratio. Means you'd have to have 40 gallons of this walnut sap to make 1 gallon of walnut syrup. So we're just boiling it down. Eventually we'll strain it so we get any debris that might have got in there while we were collecting the sap. And then we'll finalize it on the stove. So we're just using a big roasting pan with a burner, propane. Try to boil as much as we can. Alright, so here's what we're left with after boiling it down all day. It was full, now it's quite a bit lower. There's still some stuff in it, so we're going to filter it out, and then we're going to boil it again. Now we got to filter it. We're using flour sack material. We don't want to use cheesecloth because the walnuts have pectin in them and it can clog it up, so you won't filter it. So that's what we're doing.
You can see the pectin's already trying to plug this up.
So now we're just waiting for it to filter through, and this is because of the pectin in it. It's slowly filtering, but like maple syrup doesn't contain the pectin that walnuts do. So you don't have to wait as long. So now it's done filtering. We're boiling it once again. We're gonna boil it down about to half of this, and then that'll be the final boil afterwards. So now we're on the final boil. This is what 10 gallons of sap boils down to, not too much, about a quart. But we're gonna boil it up till it gets to 219, and then we'll just throw it in the jars, and you don't have to seal it. It seals itself. There's no water bath or anything necessary. And then once you open it, you need to refrigerate it, but we'll have syrup. All right, we're getting close, 218. Once you get above 212, you want to be there so you can keep stirring it, otherwise it'll scorch. Alright, now we're bottling her. So when you're doing this, keep the jars in hot water so they don't crack or anything. And then you want to make sure you don't have any syrup on the lid so it doesn't mess up the sealing process. And that's the end result of 10 gallons of walnut tree sap, 40 ounces of syrup. There it is, black walnut syrup. You can make it out of other trees too. You can do, they use the sugar maple to make maple syrup, but you can also use silver maple, you can use hickory, birch. If you do that though, you got to look up how much you have to boil it down, because the sugar content in each tree is different. So like the walnuts, it's 40-1. Hickory, it might be something like 80-1. It really depends. So you got to do that, and I didn't go through all in depth on everything. So if you want more information, you know, I'll put a few links down below in the description so you guys can kind of get started in the right direction. Alright, now time for the all-important taste test. So I got me a pancake here. We spooned it on because you don't want to waste one drop of this stuff. So this stuff tastes a little different than maple syrup. It's kind of got more of a butterscotch taste to it. Really good though. It's delicious. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. If you have walnut trees in your area, give it a go. As I said, you can also use hickory, other maple trees, and you might even be able to use some other trees. I'll put a few links down in the description below so you guys can see exactly what you have to do for that. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. Always helps me out. Drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts were. Guys, have you ever tried this before? Have you ever tried walnut syrup or any other kind of syrup made, you know, from tapping trees and stuff? Let me know down below. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay up to date with more cooking videos. Gonna be doing a whole lot more throughout the year. Got fishing season coming up, got turkey season coming up, so we're hopefully get a couple of those cooking videos coming up here, as well as more hunting and fishing videos. As I just said, we got walleye spawn and turkey season coming up, and then we'll get back into duck season once it becomes the fall. And also hunting boot camps, guys. If you want tips, tricks, gear reviews, all that good stuff, those are under the hunting boot camp playlist. If any of this stuff trips your trigger, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you out there, guys. See ya.